What's going on, everyone? I came back to do a review on the Batman. With that being said, let's get into my review. So I think the thing that was most talked about, or is most talked about before and after the movie, is whether or not Robert Pattinson is, or if he could be, a good Batman. And I definitely think he is for this type of Batman movie. Matt Reeves, I believe, he's the director and he's the co-writer, but I believe he intended for this to be kind of more reminiscent of Batman comics. I didn't read them, so I'm not too familiar, but aside from Batman just being very smart and having good tech and mastering martial arts, he's also a very good detective. So he's very good at getting to the bottom and getting to the source of any crime that he's trying to solve. They really play a role into this one, but it's also in the beginning stages of Batman. So Robert Pattinson is playing a Batman a Bruce Wayne that's only 2 years into his Batman role. So there's still a lot of aspects that are really cool about that, because you can see kind of the novice in some of his detective work. And then you have people like Gordon, or if you know him from older movies, like Commissioner Gordon, played by Jeffrey Wright. He helps him a lot in the detective work because he is an actual detective in the Gotham City PD. And then you have Alfred that also helps him out in certain aspects like that too. And you can see kind of like he's learning as he's going as well. Even though it seems he's like already pretty masterful with his combat, it's the rest that he's really piecing together. I think this movie is really dark. It's very film noirish. It's grim. It's a borderline. Certain aspects are like horror-ish, which I think is really cool, and it definitely could be rated R. But I understand if I'm pulling my emotions away from my logic. I get, as a business, it makes more sense to be PG-13 if you can be, and especially for someone like Batman, like all the kids want to go see him. I kind of want to fly to UK because they got like a rated R version after complaining about wanting one, and they gave it to him. So now I kind of want to see that, but I'm sure at some point there'll be some version like that we can all see. So I'm really ready for that. But yeah, just get ready for this movie. It's very slow. It's very different from other Batmans that you've seen. So if you're going into this kind of thinking it's kind of like a Dark Knight-ish, or even like back to like Keaton Batmans or Kilmer's or anything like that, it's not like that at all. It's very dark, not lighthearted in any aspect, and it just kind of feels like, it really came to my senses. I've always known this, but it's like Gotham City is kind of a place where you go to if you either like being in a corrupt environment or if you like to corrupt. So if you kind of want to feel what it's like to be overthrown by your government, or to have a potential for a weird villain overthrow your government to overthrow you, or if you're rich and you want to get away with doing any kind of crime that you really want, aside from the off chance that you're Batman. If you do some petty crimes, you probably are solid in Gotham City. If you get into drug dealing, you're falling into the range of Batman might appear. So if you can kind of like find your way maybe in the middle, not too corrupt, let them do their thing, and then and just enough to make your way and make that little extra side cash, I think you're probably golden there. There's a few parts in here where it's like, oh, that's a joke, but it just doesn't really fit, I feel like, in this movie. Not that that's bad, I just, I wish it would be a little lighthearted if I had to nitpick in certain aspects. I think it does bring a lot of heart to a movie, and it just feels like everyone in here is auditioning for Batman. Like the type of voice, the monotone, deep, especially Jeffrey Wright as Gordon, and like your commissioner, whatever, he's not commissioner yet, but it just feels like he's trying to be Batman, which made me kind of not like his character a little bit. I didn't really like how he played it. And I know like the writing is specifically made to kind of feel film noirish, so there's a certain structure to it in the way it's not supposed to feel like the conversations are super real and things like that. It's a certain way, and so that's fine. But it's just when you have someone like Penguin, Colin Farrell, who I think is a very big standout in this movie, he plays his role in a way where it's kind of over the top, but it's not really. It's like a grounded crazy, and I love that. I think again he's a standout. I think he's the best part, even though he's not in it a crazy amount. And I also think John Traturo was another standout. He plays Falcone, kind of like the mob boss. He plays more of a he plays kind of how I wish everyone else kind of played, where it's very grounded, but it still feels real. He's still in the structure of the way the writing is, but it's not like so like serious type of way. Like if you when you watch it, you'll kind of understand, but it's not like overly serious that he's playing, but he plays it really. I think he just plays the character very well. And then you have Andy Serkis, who's good as Alfred. I still think I like Michael Caine a bit more, but we still got a couple more Batmans to come out, so we'll see how that goes. And then we get to a part that I think was the weakest part of the film, which was Zoe Kravitz and Catwoman. And I just feel like a lot of her, like going back and thinking about it, her important parts in the movie is where she just plays kind of a device for Batman to get into like a certain club where a lot of the criminals hang out and things like that. So it didn't feel coherent in the movie. I felt like it's what made the movie very long, which is my biggest qualm with it, is just that it's way too long. It could have been cut a lot, and I think her roles take up way too much space. Her part of the story just took up too much space, and it's something you could have introduced later on, and where you could have focused more on a story between her and Batman and them together. It's just like there's a big part where she's even gone and then she reappears, and it's just like, and then a part at the end where it's overdrawn. I don't know. That's just how I feel. And then we get to Paul Dano, who plays the Riddler, who you're either gonna really love, I think, maybe not really love, but you're gonna think he's very over the top, or you're gonna think that he played it really well. And he does. He plays this kind of very uncomfortably dark and weird character really well. The last time I've seen him was in a movie called Prisoners. If you've seen it, great movie. He plays this kind of this suspect in a kidnapping, and he's just this weird kid. And there's like a scene I remember where he's walking his dog, and then he just, for no reason, just pulls the leash, starts choking the dog, and then just lets it go. But yeah, he just has a way with this kind of character. I'm not saying that says anything about him. I'm just saying he's very equipped to play this role. Aside from that, guys, yeah, like I said, if you're looking for a Batman movie that's going to be like previous Batman movies, you're not going to get it with this one. Just expect to go into it. Not a whole lot of action. When there is, it's pretty cool. But yeah, it's kind of more of a detective film. You're kind of there's some action here and there, but you're kind of just on your way with Batman kind of trying to solve this case. So if that sounds good to you, I think you're really going to enjoy it. For me, I'm gonna give this movie a 7 out of 10.
You're part of this